I'm quite sure that after this presentation, things will be much more clear to you. So the way that we would...
Before we just start, just quick explications, quick informations about how we're going to work on the webinar. If you don't mind, so Oscar and I will present the different aspects around the product. I will make also a quick tour of the of PODOSmart, the interface, how it looks like, how the data look like, what kind of information you get from PODOSmart, and then Oscar will close the presentation by doing a quick summary. During the time that we make the presentation, we're just going to deactivate the chat. I hope it's not a problem for you. It's just that it will be easier to answer the question after than asking question in the middle. So it's better for us if you keep all your questions for the end, and then once we're done with the presentation, etc., we will have 10-15 minutes of Q&A. So you can all ask your question on any topic that you want to come back during the presentation.
Absolutely. So just before we really go to the presentation and the software, which will be, I assume, the most interesting part for you, just short brief who we are. So we are Epsilon Group. We have several companies under Epsilon Group. Digital, it's our B2C company. So under Digital, you can find several products. And today we are here to discuss about PODOSmart, which is actually dedicated to the professional market, health professional like physiotherapists mainly, but not only, also podiatrists, chiropractors. We see with the time that we have more and more new channels that interested to make full gait analysis. So what I suggest, we will go through the presentation. Then by the end, as Yanis mentioned, I will make a short summary. Also with an aspect for you, the practitioners, from commercial point of view. So let's start.
So I'm just... Okay. Okay. So yeah, so PODOSmart, as you may have heard or read, so PODOSmart is a product composed with is a solution designed for practitioners to analyze gait and, let's say, mobility in general. So it's a combination of insoles like this that are connected. So you have a small USB connector here that includes a whole electronic module, and that communicates by Bluetooth to our interface that displays all the results. So first of all, a quick summary. I'm just going to explain you, to give you some context about why PODOSmart has been created, why we went into this direction, what it is, how it works, obviously, what makes this product great for assessment in clinic and in your daily work, I would say. I will also give you examples of users that are of practitioners that are using PODOSmart as of today. And then I will present you how the interface looks like with one major use case, so you can see a little bit what is all about in detail. So yeah, to get some context, what we realized before starting this product, before creating this product, that there was a big demand on how to analyze patients' conditions in an objective way. Why I'm talking about objective way is because in podiatry or in physio or all these medical works, medical fields, there are no easy tools to analyze people's gait, people's mobility. Most of practitioners rely on their experience, their knowledge, so their eyes, their hand, and which is good in some way. But sometimes it could be a little bit subjective. For example, if you go to two different podiatrists, they might provide you two different orthotics, for example. And this is not what you want to provide to your practitioners. However, there still are some tools that analyze mobility and gait, but the problem is that they are very heavy to use, as most of you may know, like Vicon cameras or treadmills with pressure platform or just pressure platforms or these kind of things. So they require a big investment of money and time, and this is really where we wanted to be challenging and bring a new solution, a new idea. Also, what exists today to analyze gait, for example, if you are using a treadmill or pressure platform, one of the other big issue or let's say challenge is that it doesn't always reflect the real conditions or the natural way of walking. For example, a treadmill, you have the rebound, the movement of the treadmill that drags the feet of the patient, all these kind of things that makes it, and there are studies that prove that walking on a treadmill doesn't reflect, or running on a treadmill doesn't reflect the natural condition of the patient. Same thing for pressure platform. If you don't have a 3-meter pressure platform that costs tons of I don't know how many tons of money and thousands of money, you have these small pressure platforms where the patient has to walk barefoot on it, and they often, because they see that the platform is the platform is a little bit too close or too far from their foot, they will have a tendency to adapt their gait and their stride, and therefore affect the results that you might get in the product and in the interface. So this is also why we believe that the kind of technology that we have developed will ease and provide a new way of analyzing biomechanics and patients' conditions. And the last thing is the fact that it's always difficult to share information with patients, not because we're not allowed to or whatever. It's mainly because it's difficult to represent or to explain easily what is wrong with the patient and why they have these conditions, why they have to do this treatment and how they are improving and how their treatment is going. And this is really another aspect in terms of communication and marketing that we also were focused on. So this is very important for a patient to understand exactly what's wrong with them and why they have to do these kind of treatments. So this is a little bit the context and where PODOSmart is really focused today. So what does PODOSmart provide? As you can see in the title, it's a dynamic gait analysis in real life condition. So it's a software that is using artificial intelligence algorithms and combined with these insoles that I showed you in the beginning, that will, as I said in the previous slide, help you to analyze, as of today, walking and running in very easy way, and that will reflect really the real life conditions of the patient. So it will help you to assess your patient's conditions it will help you to assess and to complete your assessment that you do today with objective data. It will help you also to plan a treatment, a most effective treatment, because now you will rely also on these kind of objective data. And also, you will be able to follow up the evolution of a rehab process or a treatment that I will show you later on. And also, if as podiatrists would do, or if you're providing this kind of service, it will help you to build the right orthotics also to your patient, because as we are under the feet, you will be able to understand the complete motion and the complexity of the motion of the foot. Now, why PODOSmart is how we would say the perfect clinical assessment device. First of all, you can analyze, it can be used in different environments, and it can analyze different type of activities. As I said earlier, as of today, you can already analyze walking and running analysis with the same insole and the same software. So there, you don't have to buy anything else to already do this kind of analysis. And moreover, the fact that it's all online, the software is online, it could be easily updated with future features that we plan on having. For example, orthotics recommendation based on this data, physical test evaluations like triple hop test, side hop test, drop jump test to assess, for example, knee conditions or ankle conditions and follow up the rehab. Also, so we are planning on having some kids and elderly assessment. So, and all this always with the same base of product, this insole and the interface. So today we are already used in different environment, as I said. So first of all, we have in the healthcare, so with several podiatrists, physiotherapists, osteopaths, chiropractors, orthopedists that are using it as a, let's say, daily tool to analyze quickly their patients. In sports also, to analyze performances, to predict injuries, to evaluate the fatigue level. So this is also how it can be used, especially for running. And the last aspect that is a little bit more, let's say, on the long-term aspect is for research. A lot of research have started to use PODOSmart, and we are also connecting our researchers with several labs to analyze and to define some patterns, walking patterns, for example, in Alzheimer, Parkinson, because there are already plenty of studies that have proven that what we call mobility disorder is affected by Parkinson or Alzheimer or other diseases. And we already know that, for example, if your stride length reduced in the last six months at a certain rate, it might be an indicator of Parkinson. So this is also why this tool is very interesting to use and very versatile. I mean, you can really use it in for different aspects. Now, what is inside this kit and this product that I'm talking about since the beginning? So as I said, it's a combination of insoles. So basically, when you get PODOSmart, you have a kit of 6 pairs of insoles. Why 6 pairs? It's because they all have different sizes. They come from 36 to 47, and they are all get into this kit that you can see on the screen, on the slide, and it allows you to use it for different sizes, different type of shoes, in different conditions. You have, of course, USB cables to charge them, and this black box that you can see that is called the PODOStation is just the link between the insoles and the interface. So basically, the insoles collect the data. They send all the data to this PODOStation, this black box, by Bluetooth, and then this PODOStation sends all the data by Wi-Fi to your interface, to the cloud. The reason why we have this black box is because if you're working on your computer, well, all computers don't have Bluetooth and can't really connect to the insoles, but that's another aspect. So how it works? It's pretty simple, actually. You just need to put the insoles into the patient's shoe. If he wants to walk, run, or out inside or outside, because the beauty of it is that it has a whole memory inside, so you don't need to be close to the station to do your activity. Once you started the recording, the patient can go outside your clinic, come back, and provide it to you. So obviously we're limited in terms of time. We're limited to a few minutes, so up to 10 minutes in running, because the objective as of today is not to give it to the patient so he can walk at home with it and record the whole week of activity. This will be this will be something that we'll have pretty soon. But as of today, it's mainly used to be in clinic. So once you start recording, the patient walks, he comes back, you stop, all the data are sent from the insoles to the PODOStation, and then you get all the data instantly in the interface. So it's very easy to use. There's no software to download or these kind of things. It works as well as it's all online. You can use it on Mac, on PC, you can use it on a tablet or a phone. You just need a web browser like Google Chrome, or if you're using Safari on Mac, you just need to access to it, and then you have all the data and use the interface. Now, obviously, if we stay on the technical and the practical aspect of the product, it's very easy to use, as you will see, and as I was trying to explain to you. In just 2 minutes, you have all the results. You can make your analysis indoor or outdoor your clinic in real life conditions. Why we are talking about real life conditions again is because it's an insole that is actually pretty thin, that goes into all type of shoes, that is as transparent as possible for users. And to give you an idea in terms of accuracy, we made several tests and compared our product to gold standards like Vicon cameras, OptoJump, OptiTrack, and also pressure platform and pressure treadmills. And we are always around 95 to 98% concurrency, or 2 to 5% of error. So which is pretty good. So this is why we're talking about the accuracy of an analysis laboratory in this slide. It's because we have shocked some constructors of big tools when they went trying to use PODOSmart, and this is where we are really happy with this. And yeah, it's a great achievement for us to have this kind of quality. And then the last thing is the benefit of an evolutive solution. As I said, if we take a look at 1 year back, with the same product with PODOSmart, we were only able to analyze the walking, and then in February, all our users were happy to refresh their interface, have an free upgrade that was bringing the running analysis with the same product, nothing to buy else. So they had this standard version that was doing walking, running without downloading anything. Just refresh the page and you have the whole new interface, the whole new analysis. And this will be kind of the same process in the future releases. Once we'll have additional modules that will come up, there will no need to have any add-ons in terms of hardware, but just an upgrade of the interface and the actual service. Now, it wouldn't be interesting if I didn't talk to you about users that we currently have and that are already using it since now, for some of them, almost a year, because we launched this product a year and a half, around a year and a couple months ago. So yeah, we started mainly in France and in UK. So this is why you will have UK and France represented here. But now we are in over 10 countries.
About no more.
Okay, yeah, 10.
It's getting now really closer to 15 and very
growing.
Soon, going up definitely.
So, for example, I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you these three different testimony, because they all talk about different aspects of the product. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. So first of all, Jean Newhouse is a podiatrist in UK who has really seen the practical aspect of the product on the way that she was able to practice a biomechanical assessment really very, very in a quick way. So in only a few minutes, she was able to do this biomechanical assessment, where before it was taking her an hour and a half for each person, which was way too much, and it was complex for her to do it. Now she was able, first of all, to provide more biomechanical assessment, but also increase the price, because she was giving a better quality of assessment by using PODOSmart, more precise, more information, so a better care. And with this, she has been able to increase by 83% the number of biomechanical assessment that has been booked by patient, which is very, very interesting. And we were really glad to hear that it helped her in her daily practice because of that. Now, Fabrice Millet is a sport podiatrist based in France. So he's mainly specialized in running and cycling. So he's following a lot of triathletes who are doing doing all these different sports. And basically what he really enjoyed was the fact that he could really easily share and explain the treatment proposed to practitioners, to patients, sorry. Because you will see in the interface, it's all with schematic views and some numbers and colors. So it's pretty easy to show to patient and to show some aspects of their conditions. Lastly, Cyril Marchou is another podiatrist in France who really enjoyed the fact that it was easy to use and that it was adapted to most of his patients, so he could easily use the product for most of his patients. So this is really the last aspect that I wanted to share with you on that.
If you don't mind,
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
one point, Yanis. Just I want to clarify something. Basically, you see here actually the testimony from podiatrists. Frankly speaking, from UK and France. Those was the two first market that we opened. First with podiatry channels, and then once we launched the product, we realized getting feedbacks from physiotherapists how this product will be also I can say perfect for their uses. So today we have more and more testimonies and very positive feedback coming from the physiotherapy market, and this is something that I want to clarify. You see podiatrists here, this was actually the beginning when we started, but today, and this is important point to understand, it's podiatrists, but of course physiotherapists, etc.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, this is exactly why we also are working on specific modules and add-ons also for physio and rehab development. Yeah, of course,
Exactly.
Big traction on the physio market because it's this. I mean, it's the same kind of the pain points that I showed you in the beginning are the same for podiatrists as for physios. So yeah, when we started to present this product, big traction on physios, and we realized really that there was something to, and basically the running analysis, we really added it for physios.
Exactly.
Because most of them were interesting in this aspect. Yeah, so now I'm just going to share you my screen, the screen of the interface, so you can see what I'm talking about when I say it's all online, it's very easy to use, etc., etc. So just give me one thing. One second here. Okay, so I guess that you can all see my screen here. So okay, I have a little issue of display on my screen. Up. Ok, attends. C'est trop petit. Non, j'ai l'impression que ça s'affiche bizarrement. Because it's the screen where I'm sharing. It shows weird. Anyway, so let's show you how it looks like. It's pretty annoying actually. Yeah, can you see well the screen, Nikolai or Dag? If you could just let me know, because it appears a little bit weird on our side. I think it's the screen, the size of the screen that looks weird. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay. So basically, the software, as I said, it's a software all online. So I'm using Chrome actually to show you how the interface. So there are different aspects. First of all, every user has its own dashboard. So you have your own account. You create an account that is all, of course, all the data are secured and GDPR compliant. We are using Amazon Web Service, Amazon Web Services with special medical keys. So here's the thing. First of all, you have different parts in the software. Here I'm on the home page. I have different information related to the number of patients that I have, the number of insoles, the station basically that allows me to make the analysis online, which is not the case here. Then here as it's a new account that I just set to show you this aspect, I can it tells me what I have to do to start making the install. So it's all guided, all bring you to do. It drives you to tell you what you have to do to accomplish the configuration of the product. On the left, you have the panel, the navigation panel, where you can have the list of your patients, the list of your equipment, the insoles, the station, the settings for the languages, and some support if you have any questions. So yeah, I'm just going to go very quickly on the results. So once you made an analysis, there are different things that are shown. First of all the parameters are combined into or categorized into two families. So there are two pages, as you can see. I have angular generals and angulars. And basically the first part of generals is focused on spatio-temporal parameters mainly. So why I'm talking about spatio-temporal is that I have speed, cadence, contact time, flight time, stride length. So I'm going to show you this right now. But the first thing I want to show you is that at the end of the analysis, if you want, you can, and also during, you can add the conditions of the patient. So what kind of pain he's in, if he's using any aids to walk, some characteristics of the shoe, so that you can remember if the patient comes back 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month later, you will remember the conditions the patient was into and in which condition the analysis has been made.
So this is, for example, something that we added just recently, about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like this.
So it's an example of how we always adding new features based on the feedback that we are getting from the market.
Oh yeah, obviously this is really we are very feedback focused. All major let's say updates and improvement that we make on the interface is driven by users' feedback and what can we improve their experience on a daily basis. So let's talk about the data a little bit. First of all, we have the symmetry, the speed, and the cadence. As you can see here, I was talking about colors. Everything here is on green because actually when you create the patient, we ask you also some information about the patient, like the age, the height, the weight, these informations, and the gender. These informations allow us to categorize the patient for the norms. So we have made a lot of research to find the right norms. So we didn't conduct any studies to define these norms. Basically, we have found norms in the literature that are classifying with age and gender mainly the people. And so we are able to provide for most of parameters. If your patient is has a certain, for example, here the speed, I can tell you that for this specific patient, the average recommended speed is between 4.6 and 5.9 kilometers per hour. It's somebody of around 27 years old. One quick thing, here you can see Alzheimer's disease. Obviously, it was not the case. It's just to show you that you can also add the pathology of the patient, and it gives you and you can find back this information once you read the analysis. So for each parameter, we are giving you indicators to see if it's wrong or not, which are made mainly statistically. I will explain you a little bit here. Here we have the walking profile, which is focused on contact, flight time so contact here, for example, and flight time here on the right. That is on the left in yellow and right in blue. So we are providing these two different elements because with this you can easily see if there's an imbalance, an asymmetry in this case. and also for the stride length, we are not talking about the step length, which is the length between the right and the left. Here we are really talking about the stride length. So there's the actual distance that has been made by each foot from the moment that it takes off the ground to the moment it hits the ground on the beginning of the second cycle.
Because here the result, you can see 1.6 meter, which is equal, but with this actually approach, we can see sometimes that it's different, and then it gives us a lot of idea about the walking profile.
Exactly. So if I click on advanced, actually I will have the details of this data. So for example, if you have someone who is limping, you will see a difference in terms of information here. Now, just to show you here, what I was telling you about the references, basically what we show is that you can see that there is so we keep the green, orange, and red, which basically are the norms and the references made on regarding statistic studies. So basically you have between the orange limits, you have 95% of the population. If you are out of this, if you're in the red, basically you're in the 5% of the population that has these kind of numbers. So you're either very high or very low. As long as you're in green, that's good. If you're in orange, it starts to be a little bit let's say you want to take a look at it, but nothing to be really worried of. But as if you're in red, then that starts to be something a little bit more important to look at. Then after what we have in terms of data, we have what we call the gait line. I don't want to, if you want, you could ask me afterwards if you want to have a little bit more explanation, but basically it's the trajectory of center of pressure. So we are not using pressure sensors in the sole, just to because I know that people would have asked the question, but so we are not using pressure sensors. We are using inertial sensors, but we are been working on this technology since now 5 years, almost six, even six now. Yeah. So we have now 40 people between engineers and PhD in biomechanics that are working on these kind of products that are trying to and that are working very hard to get the best out of these inertial sensors. And basically, we have been able to find correlations between this trajectory of center of pressure and the orientation of the foot and the way the foot is moving. This is why we are able to provide this kind of gait line here. Now, the propulsion rate here is a good tool to understand what kind of muscles is overstressed or not during the walk of the patient. For example, here we are, if you look at it, so you see somebody from the back, you see a person from the back. We have two, so it's separated in four parts. First of all, you have left and right, which is the side, obviously. And then you have the top of the graph, which is related to the hips and the hip flexors, and the bottom of the graph, the second half of the graph, is focused on the plantar flexors. Why we are talking about this is because today we are measuring, so we are talking about the propulsion of the patient. When he is walking, we can evaluate the propulsion of the patient. What it means is that we measure the speed at the moment the foot takes off the ground. So at the propulsion phase. Okay, so we measure the speed at the propulsion phase. Then we measure the propulsion during the flight phase or the oscillation phase of the foot. And when you compare these two, it gives you the indicator of which flexors is solicited or not. If you're balanced, if both speed are equal, then you're balanced. You don't have any break of motion in the way you walk. So you are using equally your hips and your plantar flexors. Someone who is not propulsing enough, he's not pushing enough with his ankles, his calves, and his feet, he will have a tendency to use his hips and be in this kind of results. And this can cause back pain, hip pain after several times of walk. And this is why you can have also, it also can be imbalanced. So this is why you can have some patient telling you, I have a pain in my lower right back. that could be explained because they're not propulsing enough with the right foot and they're dragging too much their leg with their hips. All what I'm saying here, all what I'm explaining you with the data, you can have them at each card of the results. As you can see on the bottom of each parameter, hold on a second, you have some interpretations, phrases, sentences, paragraph that explains you what you're looking at. So all what I'm telling you actually is written here. So don't worry if it's something that you never maybe are being used to, but you have all these informations directly in the interface, so you can make your own conclusion after these interpretations. The second part of the walking analysis is what we call the angular analysis. So we are really working at the kinematic of the foot and the body. So the first thing is that we are looking at the pronation supination angle. So we are in the frontal plane, and we're looking at the orientation of the foot compared to the ground level. So all these numbers that you see here are the let's say the position of the orientation of the sutular joint compared to the ground. So if you have -12 or -17, it's because it's -12 degrees compared to the ground level, not to the tibia or whatever. Because I know that it could be a little bit complex, but yeah. And what we are measuring is that we are measuring at 4 different moments of the contact phase. So we're not just telling you if the person is pronator or supinator. We're telling you there are 4 moments of the contact phase: heel strike, toe strike, or foot flat in, heel take off, foot flat out, and toe off, so propulsion, end of propulsion. And we measure these angles for both feet at these 4 moments of the stance phase. This allows you to have a full picture of the movement of the foot during the contact phase. I showed you this in a let's say schematic view. I want to show you this in a graphical view so you can understand what I'm talking about. So on the left you have the left foot, and on the right you have the right foot. Okay. 1 second. Oop. So it's annoying. I want to have this. The screen is really not adapted. So here it is. So you have different curves, different colors. So I'm going to explain you. What you want to look at is to look at this graph from bottom to top. Okay. In the bottom you have the heel strike, and then you have the phases. You have from bottom to top you have different phases. So if you look at it from bottom to top, you really see the rollout and the way the foot is moving from bottom to top. First point is heel strike, then you have the toe strike, so first phase here, loading, then you have the flat foot phase here, and then the propulsion phase at the end on the top third graph. The green corridor is the what we call the neutrality corridor. Basically, it's the reference to help you to say if the person is pronator, if the patient is more in pronation or in supination. And on the top, you can see here, we show you when you are regarding the graph inwards, so inside the graph or closer to the 0 or positive value on the bottom here, then you're more into pronation. If you're closer to the extreme of the graph, on the outside of the graph or the lateral aspect, well, you're more into supination. So this is how you look at it. Now, for the patient, you have a black line linked by dots. It's the mean value of the patient. So, for example, here, the patient has its heel strike at minus 12.3 degrees. So it's a little bit low slightly in pronation. So you see, corridor goes from minus 12.5 to minus 17.5. So as it's a little bit inwards and closer to 0, so it's slightly in pronation. It's almost nothing, so we're not talking about pronation, but it's an indicator. Then the 2 lines, thin lines that you see on each of the black line is the standard deviation. So it just helps you to understand how repeatable is the motion of the foot and the positioning of the foot during each steps that he took for the analysis. So I don't want to go too much in detail on this. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. We have also some documentation that we could share with you after. But yeah, so it helps a lot to understand why the patient is in pain, if he has any specific conditions, for example, on the foot, hallux valgus, you will have a tendency to have a very pronated foot on the beginning, then going back, then instead of propulsing with the first metatarsal, the patient will have a tendency to propulse with the first and second, so avoiding the pain zone. So yeah, you can see it very easily with this graph and this view. Then the last things that I want to show you with the walk is the two new parameters that we introduced a couple months ago, is the foot progression angle, or FIC angle, if some of you may know this terminology. So basically, it's how during the contact phase, how open is the foot. So if he's, for example, walking like a duck or these kind of things, you see it with this angle here. And on the top, it's the maximum lateral deviation. So it's, for example, a patient that has a lack of flexibility on the knee, instead of move forward like this and having a flexion of the knee to avoid hitting the ground, he will not have this flexion of the knee, but go on the outside of the foot, have this kind of circumduction to reach and to avoid the ground. Then the last two parameters are the clearance and steppage, which are for some known. So clearance is the minimum distance, minimum height between the toes and the ground during the flight phase, and the steppage is the strike angle in the walk. So this allows you, it's a little bit more interesting for elderly people to evaluate the risk of injury, the fatigue, or even people who has neurological conditions that has lack of stability, or mainly the lack of flexors to keep the foot straight. So yeah, this is the last parameters. Yeah.
Just for example, here you can see that on the right we have 0.2 centimeter. So this is a very important indicator that this patient, particularly with this low result of 0.2 centimeter, there is definitely a risk of falling down. So this is something which we added. Those are two new features that we added also recently, and we are getting more and more feedbacks about how important is to know if the patient is really in these kind of conditions that he can fall down. So at least he would be more aware about his way of walking, and of course the exercise to improve it.
Yeah. So once again, you still have this the interpretation on the bottom. So all what I've been saying, or even what Oscar could have said, you could have them in this kind of interpretation and in this card. And at the end, you also have a generic interpretation that is, let's say, a cross interpretation of the different parameters. So at the end of the analysis, or even during, you can still add some comments here on the left that you can see. So I can write whatever I want. I add it, and it will be saved, and also I will have the date, so I can remember when I did these comments. You can also, if you want, export so you can, if you click on the button here, or even you have it on the left here, so this option button here, you can either see the detailed results, make a comparison of the results, or make an exportation. So if I click on export, I have the PDF version of it that I can custom if I want. I can if I want, I can take out the email address or whatever, and you can print it or save it as a PDF easily. And also at the end, you can write some comments and give some recommendation to either the patient, or if you're sharing it, if, for example, your physiotherapist working with podiatrist or orthopedist, you can send this report with the recommended actions or any comments that you want to share with them. So it's clearer and easier for them to understand what you're talking about.
Beside the fact, I want just to emphasize on this 1 second, the fact that you can share this with other practitioners, etc. What is great with the fact that you can show this result black and white to your patient. So from psychological point of view, when they can see the result black and white, with especially that it's so friendly user, we know we are getting always this kind of feedbacks that this help a lot to the practitioners to take the patient and to get him more involved on the process and the result. This is one of the advantages of the software.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah. So now I'm going just very quickly to show you the running analysis. So very quickly, you have all the data related to speed, cadence, duration. So you, as I said, you can analyze it on treadmill or outdoor. So you can do both of type of activities. It gives you the asymmetry, the strike pattern, the evolution of cadence and speed through the time, and also the running profile, just like in walk. So contact time, flight time, stride length, these kind of things. And in the end, the angle, same as the walk. You have this, the angulation also, strike at the strike moment and propulsion, where that we are going to improve with the mid stance angle in a couple of weeks. If I click on analysis on the top, I can just go go deeper into the analysis. I can select 2 specific points of the run and analyze it with more detail. So I can see if I had any asymmetry or any fatigue signs, like for example, if your contact time get higher or things like that, then it means that you're getting tired and you might have a higher risk of injury. So that's all for the running analysis. Last thing that I want to show you is a very quick use case of that we received from a physio who has been using our product. So it's a patient who has been who had an ACL surgery, so who had a ligament this ligament issue on his left knee, and he basically after 1 month after his surgery he started his rehab, and we followed him a little bit. We followed his results through the time. So I just want to show you, just after 1 month of rehab, what the results that we observed. You can see here, for example, at the beginning it was very low in speed, so you can see red color and a little bit low in cadence, and low in symmetry also, 91%. It's not that good. After 1 month only, he gained by 1 kilometer per hour in terms of speed, so which is very good in terms of mobility, and in cadence, good. So going in right direction in general in terms of mobility. Same thing for the walking profile. What I want to look at is the contact time, flight time. Normally you should be around 60-40 for a norm, and he has only 1.2 centimeter of 1.2 meter in terms of stride length. After 1 week, after 3 to 4 weeks, 1 month, he went from 1.2 meter to 1.4 meter. So he gained 40 centimeter in walk and in stride length. And the contact, where he had 2% of difference and very high, he had only 1% of difference in getting closer to this norm of 60-40. So really going in the right direction, and you see just by a quick look. And the last thing that I want to show you is the propulsion. So obviously when he was in pain, he was using mainly his hip flexors on the top here, and also mainly on the left, especially on the left. As he was injured, he was in pain, he couldn't use that much his calves. But then after a month, everything was getting back into shape and normal. So I'm not saying that he was all good and he was done after 1 month, but just to show you how you could see the improvement very quickly and easily through the interface after 1 month only of rehab. So it's all for me in terms of demonstration. I think I went a little bit over time for me, but I hope it was clear for you. And if you have any questions, we will soon activate it. So I will just let Oscar conclude and we will start the QA.
Well, thank you, Yanis, for the great presentation. Just to let you know that Yanis is a product manager. There is no one in the company can make it better than him.
Come on.
Thank you for this.
Okay.
So, of course, Yanis went through all the major points. There's few things that I just wanted to emphasize. When we have been required to make this development, one of the things, beside all what we discussed, like to make it very friendly user and easy to use and so on, it's to make it affordable for any kind of pocket, for any kind of budget. Because before we came with PODOSmart to the market, if we look at all the tools that exist, the prices are quite high if we take the treadmills and the cameras and the pressure sensors and so on. And basically, there are many practitioners, physiotherapists, podiatrists, private clinics that couldn't afford buying those kind of tools. It was mainly used in hospitals, rehab centers, and so on. We wanted to bring to the market a product beside all the qualities that you can see, I hope, through this presentation, something that will be affordable for any kind of budget. And today we can see that more and more private clinics, physiotherapists, podiatrists, definitely investing in our product. I'm saying investing because as one distributor told me that basically the practitioners are investing in a product that there is also ROI, return on investment is very, very, very I can say quick on this product. Jill from UK, it's a good example. She basically invested in the product, but by the end of the day, we found that she was able to increase the price per visit because she's using something much more, I can say, that give her more accuracy on her analysis and so on. And also the number of patients that came comparing to the period when she was not using PODOSmart increased at 83%. And we are getting more and more those kind of feedbacks. So of course, systems different from country to country, but for me, it was really important to say that all the packages that we created in terms of attractive price, a natural way of working analysis, easy to use, friendly user, the fact that you can take the PODOSmart and you can go out of the clinic and you can make some analysis in a very easy way out of your clinic. It's not like with other heavy tools that you oblige that the patient will come to you. This is what we wanted to change, this to create this different atmosphere around this product and on these channels.
So thank you very much for your attention and your patience, I would say. So I reactivated the chat. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. We will be glad to answer you.
Just before, Doug, maybe you want to say some words before the questions in your language, or please feel free.
I think the attendants can ask a question and then I can comment after the question has been answered.
Okay, no problem. So everybody, you can type in the chat to send your questions. Feel free to ask all questions that you need.
Right now,
Okay.
So it's a good question. Right now, it exists in several languages. not in Norwegian. This is something that definitely we will have to discuss with the distributor, with AlphaCare. But the objective of obviously not in the very short term, but to make it available in any kind of language. However, I want to say that with my experience in terms of English, the software, it's so easy to understand, and I think that for Norwegian that speak English quite well, at least for the short term, this will not cause any problem. I can promise you.
But we will see how to.
But definitely, this is a discussion that we will have together with the distributor.
Yeah. So I see that
there's a question written in Norwegian. I can just translate.
Yeah.
He's asking if, in addition to the analysis, is there any type of interpretation of the results, and do the platform provide any IDs for treatment based on the analysis?
Yeah. So as of today, as I showed, there are some pre-interpretations done straight into the interface. So you have always, for each parameter that is a little bit more advanced, we have these interpretations. We also have some documentation. We have interpretation manuals. We have some use cases that you can check into the website, of the PODOSmart website, that we are always improving. We have always new use cases, so you can see, for example, we have one on scoliosis, how to analyze scoliosis with PODOSmart, how to treat a specific issue with PODOSmart. However, as of today and short term, we're not planning on propose a treatment because we don't want to replace the job of the physio or the practitioner. And it will be another kind of product, more complex to propose, because there are things that we can't necessarily see. There are things that we can't really know. So propose a treatment I think it will be a little bit borderline for us to do that. We have some insights. We know how we could do, but we don't really want to put it directly into the interface. We have some documentation. We can provide some help on that, but we don't really want to have it straight into the interface. I hope that answers.
Good.
But the next step is maybe with the insoles is where you can put on wedges, for example, if you're making insoles. So that is maybe coming on the next step of the insoles the program that you're planning.
Sorry, you want to know if we can add wedges to the insoles?
No, but the next, you have for gait analysis and running, but the next step is for children and elderly, and also for insoles, or what you can do with insoles.
Yes, we are working on a solution.
We are working on it, yeah.
Yeah, we're working on a solution to propose some orthotics recommendation and construction recommendations. Yeah. I saw another question from Daniel. Are the insoles placed under ordinary soles in shoes? How much do they build in height? The question of height every time. Okay, I don't want to give you any wrong information. So the insoles, we put them, so you replace them with the ordinary insole that you have. So the property insole, I don't know how you said it in English, but the standard insole that you have in the shoe, or any insole that you have in the shoe, we suggest to take off this insole and put the PODOSmart instead, because it's still a little bit thick. I think it's between 5 millimeter to I think the maximum is 7 millimeter.
About 7.
Yeah, about 7 millimeter at the heel. So it's still a little bit thick. There's some thickness. So if you have some insoles inside, it's better to take them out and use the PODOSmart insoles without it.
Is it
and there's also a question about the cost of investment, and I was waiting for it, just wondering when it will come. So what we have said, we are giving 25% off for 2 weeks. and that's what the most people want to know is how much percentage of they can get from the price. So the price for the next 2 weeks will be for a full package in Norwegian crowns 18,900 plus VAT.
Okay, great.
And of course, a little bit less in Danish kroners because of the currency difference. Torben will be in contact with any interest from Denmark, and he can give you information about the prices.
Okay, great remark.
Any other questions? Feel free. Yeah? This is the best occasion to ask.
By the way, I mean, if someone wants later on to share the questions with Doug or Nikolai, feel free, and then we will get the questions, and obviously we will come back with full answers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Very good, and we'll also provide everyone with the video in case they want to watch some parts again, or maybe they have some colleagues or something that would like to watch it.
Okay.
With the recording of the webinar.
Thank you very much for participating. It's our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we are running a little bit out of time. Sorry, everybody.
If there is no any more questions, just a reminder, just feel free to send your questions to Doug, to AlphaCare, and we will answer quickly.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending the webinar. I hope it was interesting for you and you enjoyed the information. I hope that it was complete enough, and I wish you a good afternoon and good continuation.
Yeah. And
Stay
thank
safe.
you to Yanis that made the most of the job of the presentation.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.